Good morning, everybody. It is November the 18th, 2016, and that big storm that's working its way up into Canada right now to Minnesota and Wisconsin. We got the southern end of it. We're supposed to be in the 50s for the next couple of 3 days, so that'll be welcome. It's been really, really hot here. In fact, it's been in the mid-80s the last 3 days down here, so that's very, very warm for this time of year. Right now, there is no news overnight to speak of. The E-mini is pointed higher. The bond and note are pointed higher this morning. No news to associate with this. Probably Friday, end of the week profit taking. And next week is an auction week, and that usually brings support. So the market is in a downtrend. The focus has been the dollar rolling from debt and risk off investments like bonds and gold, rolling into equities. Crude oil is back and forth, but again, all the talk from Russia is that they have a deal and they'll get a deal. The technical committee starts its meeting on the 21st. That market will be subject to new spikes. No news of consequence today for us other than a couple of Fed governors speaking. So don't have a lot to drive the market other than end of the week short covering. Bonds and equities can trade higher and lower. The inverse relationship is not guaranteed these days as it has been. Everybody's been talking about the Fed can raise interest rates or will raise interest rates, not can. And yesterday we started to see articles coming, well, maybe the Fed won't raise interest rates. So you always have to keep it going, but my guess is that the Fed will raise interest rates in December. And they will have gotten Ray Dalio's 50 basis point rate increase over 2 years, 2015, 2016. Now, calendar year-wise, it's from December to December, so it's been a 1 year increase. And Ray Dalio said they can raise it 50 basis points without doing anything. If they raise it 100 basis points, Ray Dalio has not said recession. He said depression, so we'll see. Now, that was based on an anemic economy with very little prospects for growth, stagflation. So if tax policy and industrial policy can bring back economic growth, then this 100 basis point equals a depression from Ray Dalio will probably be revisited. So here we are. We have a resistance starts at 2, maybe as high as 8. So we'll make 3 to 7 sell 1, and 11 to 15 sell 2. On the buy side, 25, 29, and 17 to 21. And last night we were hoping to buy 25 to 29s, and we have and then 17 to 21. Those are the same numbers we had last night, and the low was looks like it was 17. So we'll see if those numbers hold up today. Today's news: leading economic LAI up 1/10. KC Fed, don't know. Last month it was +6. Baker Hughes rig count at 744. None of that news usually impacts the market. So I think the biggest dynamic of the market that we'll see today is probably end of the week short covering. Yeah, Mike Pompeo is he's an interesting guy. Very, very conservative on paper, speeches, and I think that's where his heart is. But when John Boehner needed the votes, he got Mike Pompeo's votes. So Mike Pompeo scores 77% on the conservative scale, which is pretty good. Very few people score higher than that. But again, when the power structure, the powers that be need the votes, they usually get them. Okay, we have this M period high here at 25. We've got a K period high at 30. We've got an I period high up here at 04. So 24, 28 will be number 1. 31 to 03, sell 1. 11 to 15, sell 2. On the buy side, and it looks like it's 10 to 15, so we'll make 8 to 12 number 1, and then 1 to 5 buy 1, and 21, 25 buy 2. My feelings on Mike Pompeo have always been mixed. I kind of viewed him as a carpetbagger, which is not a term common to the Midwest but to the South. When he came to Kansas, he immediately joined all the groups and organizations, and he had some pretty strong financial backing too early on to allow him to participate at the state level, raising money and running campaigns for the current crop of politicians we had then. So from day one when he came to Kansas, it was to get elected, get to Congress, and tap into the trough, in my opinion. I like Mike. We're fairly good friends and know the family pretty well, so but I've always viewed him kind of as a political entrepreneur, and I see a lot of that, especially in the kids. Some of these kids are just really in 24, 25, 27, 28 years old, running at the county, running at the city level, running at the state level, getting their name in the hat, starting to build some presence in the community. They don't usually win the first couple elections out, but if they hang around and they keep after it, they usually find their way in and start climbing that ladder. And back when I was growing up, nobody thought about being a politician to get wealthy or rich. But over the 40 or 50 years of my work career, they've got fabulous pensions, they've got fabulous Medicare, they're guaranteed to be millionaires if they can make it to Washington, D.C. They're not held accountable for anything. All they have to do is get elected. And that is the focus of their job. Okay, looking at gold right now, we're under a little bit of selling pressure again. I thought we would get stops below 1200. We had a 5 to 7 buy last night, and then at the buck, so we'll make the buck to 02 buy 2. 5 to 7 buy 1. Didn't get stops below it. It's Friday short covering. 15 to 17 sell 1. 20 to 22 sell 2. So the dynamic here is end of the week short covering. Draghi spoke this morning, didn't have a lot of impact on the markets, but he did speak, and he didn't have a lot of impact at the first of the week when he spoke either. December is the big meeting for European Central Bank. They'll have to extend their quantitative easing program, and it's hard to see how they cannot, but we'll see. Little two-letter ledge right there at 106.55. We had a 45 to 55 sell last night, then 75. So that looks 106.50 sell 1, 106.75 sell 2. On the buy side, 625 buy 1. 106 even buy 2. And they got stops below 106, so part of this is short covering also. Crude oil. I don't think anybody coming into the OPEC meeting, which is the official one, is on the 30th. The technical committee moved up their meeting from the 25th to the 21st. I don't think anybody's going to be heavy short over the weekend unless you can deliver in because of the comments that will come out of Russia and other people that want to keep prices as high as they can for as long as they can. All these real expensive, fancy Western educations, all these time spent in Harvard and all the other fancy business schools, and when it comes to figuring their budget requirements and budget needs, and they only have one product, crude oil, it should be pretty easy to figure out the price that you need to meet your budget demands. All that gets thrown aside when they fight for market share and or more. And you can see all the fires in all the different states that are involved in fighting each other in the Middle East right now under various guises and names. 45.50, 45.75 by 1. 45 even, 45 and a quarter by 2. Think we're headed a little higher. Stops above 50, so 46.50, 75, sell 1, and then selling against yesterday's high, which I believe was 47.12, so 47 even, 47.25. And the E-mini. Now, from my standpoint, I could never understand why anybody wanted to be a politician. In school, business law just damn near killed me. I had to put in a lot of work to make the grades that I did, and it was just totally, it was of zero interest to me. But I couldn't imagine anybody wanting to sit there and write law and put up with that and argue over this and that, and I guess that's why I'm not a lawyer either. But they're everywhere these days. It's a good way to get rich. Okay, here we are. Everything is pointed higher. Volume continues to move up. We have volume yesterday. As long as we can build volume above 84 today, we've got a chance for the market to trade higher. So this 87 to 90 area, selling failure to take out 87 to 90 is probably the easiest trade to see. Then if we get through that, I'm going to jump it up to 99 to 01, finish the week higher, but obviously 95 will be an inflection point too. On the buy side, 79 to 81. And then 75 to 77. So try to buy 75s to 80s and sell failure to take out and hold 90 is where we are. No news to drive the trading today. It's just going to be down to how much momentum can they carry up and through. And right now everything is pointed higher. Okay, it's going to take a bit to get everything up and published. I'm going to get busy on that. I'll be back with you as soon as possible.